The 2025 Spanish Grand Prix was meant to be another classic chapter in Formula One's European summer, but it's now being remembered for something far more explosive. On lap 63, as strategy battles raged and tyre wear became critical, Max Verstappen, the reigning four-time world champion, found himself in a dogfight with George Russell for P4. What followed was a moment of sheer chaos, a controversial move, a furious radio message, and a 10-second penalty that has triggered a seismic fallout across the F1 world. For 24 hours, Verstappen remained almost silent, his initial reaction cold, unapologetic, and calculated. But then, he broke. A social media post appeared, an apology slipped through, and sources close to the Red Bull garage began to leak the private conversations that followed the race. Behind the scenes, things were far more tense than the cameras ever showed. And with Max now sitting on 11 penalty points, just one away from a mandatory race ban, this isn't just about Barcelona. This is about the championship. If you love deep dive F1 analysis and raw, behind-the-scenes truths like this, don't forget to subscribe. This isn't just news, it's the story F1 insiders are whispering about. Let's get into it. Let's break this incident down, not just by what we saw on screen, but by what we've now uncovered from behind the scenes. What really happened between Max Verstappen and George Russell in the final stages of the Spanish Grand Prix? It all began with strategy. Red Bull opted for a bold three-stop plan, which was working, until a late safety car turned everything upside down. Verstappen, chasing an outside shot at the podium, was pitted for hard tyres. Many questioned the call in real time, but team principal Christian Horner later defended the decision, saying it was the best option with the data they had. Still, in Max's world, where every race is a battlefield and every decision scrutinised, the call didn't sit well. Frustration was already boiling beneath the surface as Verstappen emerged from the pit lane. That frustration turned into fury when the team ordered him to give fourth place back to George Russell after Max had cut turn 1 to maintain position. And then, like a coiled spring snapping under pressure, Verstappen did something we rarely see. He let emotion override calculation. As instructed, he moved aside to let Russell by, but just seconds later, at turn 5, Verstappen made an erratic move, darting into Russell's path, colliding with the Mercedes. Was it just misjudgment under pressure, or something more sinister? Sky Sports pundits didn't hold back. Nico Rosberg called it completely unacceptable and suggested a black flag should have been issued. Anthony Davidson went even further, implying the move was deliberate, calculated, and dangerously close to retaliation. The FIA, after a brief review, handed Verstappen a 10-second penalty and 3 penalty points, taking his total to 11. One more, and he triggers an automatic race ban under the current super license system. The timing couldn't be worse. With Canada and Austria up next, 2 high-stakes races for both Max and Red Bull, he now walks a tightrope. One misstep, one moment of impatience, and he becomes the first reigning world champion to be suspended mid-season. This situation begs a much deeper question. Is the Verstappen-Russell rivalry about to reach boiling point? Their tension isn't new. Remember Silverstone 2022, Brazil 2023? There's history here. The two have clashed on track and off it. Russell's move in Spain was firm but fair. Verstappen's reaction? That's the grey area, one now flooded with commentary and speculation. Initially, Verstappen gave the media nothing. His responses were cold and deflective. No regrets, he said, no apology. But that changed the next day. On Monday, Verstappen posted a rare moment of self-awareness to Instagram, admitting his move was not right and shouldn't have happened. He pointed to the frustration caused by strategy decisions and the chaotic restart. But it's not what he said that raised eyebrows, it's when and how he said it. Was this a genuine moment of reflection, or a carefully timed PR move to dampen public criticism and avoid further sanction? Insiders claim Red Bull's post-race debrief was intense. Horner later confirmed that Verstappen apologised to the team, something fans never saw on camera. The social media post, liked by Horner, felt coordinated. It looked like damage control. And while fans are divided, some defending Max's passion, others calling for harsher penalties, the FIA finds itself in a delicate position. Let him off lightly again, and they risk accusations of inconsistency. Go too hard, and they inflame Verstappen's vast global fan base. It's a political minefield, and the FIA must tread carefully. But let's look at the data. Verstappen now sits on 11 penalty points. He only has room for one more before hitting 12, which would trigger a race ban. His next opportunity to drop points won't come until June 30th, when an infraction from last year's Austrian Grand Prix expires. That means 2 full race weekends, Canada and Austria, where Max must be on his absolute best behaviour. And that's easier said than done when you're locked in a fierce championship fight. If Verstappen picks up a single point in Montreal, he'll miss Red Bull's home race at the Red Bull Ring, a symbolic and strategic disaster for the team. If he escapes Canada unscathed but stumbles in Austria, he'd be banned from Silverstone, a race he's desperate to win in enemy territory. The stakes? Sky high. The pressure? Unrelenting. Let's not forget the broader context. Red Bull are no longer cruising to victory like in early 2023. McLaren has closed the gap. Ferrari has shown real bite, and Mercedes, despite their inconsistent form, can still upset the order on any given Sunday. With every point now critical, Verstappen cannot afford another outburst. The margin for error has evaporated. There's also a psychological angle to explore. Verstappen is famously intense, hyper-competitive, and emotionally raw in battle. That fire has brought him 4 world titles, but it could now cost him dearly. If he lashes out under pressure again, the consequences won't just be point penalties, they could be strategic failures, team divisions, and even a dent in his legacy. Christian Horner is now tasked with managing the unmanageable, keeping Max aggressive but not reckless, competitive but not controversial. It's a balancing act that Red Bull has navigated well in the past, but one that's now becoming harder with each race. The Spanish Grand Prix exposed the cracks in their control over Max, and if Montreal brings more chaos, those cracks could split wide open. Meanwhile, George Russell comes out of this as something of a calm operator. He avoided retaliation, kept his radio rage brief, and moved on. Mercedes will feel vindicated. They provoked a mistake, held their ground, and forced Red Bull and Verstappen into a PR backpedal. That's a psychological win, even if they didn't leave Spain with silverware. What do you think? Was Verstappen's move pure frustration or a tactical retaliation that crossed the line? And if he gets one more point, should the FIA really suspend the world champion? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because Montreal is next, and the pressure has never been higher.